So guys, it's been quite some time I did not create any video. So today I got a call from one of my previous student and he was saying that I faced some interview related to Linux operating system and very common questions were asked but with a different way. And the expectation of the interviewer that the answer should also be the same way the questions were asked, like not the straightforward, like how do you create a user add command. No. So the particular question was in a different way, although like we need to understand like why the interviewer is asking the question this way and how can you answer those questions in more better and efficient way. Okay, let's look at this. How do you add a new user in Linux? Okay, let's go to terminal and let us see how do we add a user. So first of all, we can say simply say user add and let us say username is Tom. I can do that. But in the same way, when you are saying how do you add a new user to Linux operating system, so now you can ask, do you want to add a user in a flat with default conditions or default parameters set in your operating system, or do you want to customize it? So if you ask this question, it means the person will really understand that you have detailed understanding of user management. That is why you are asking this question. So how are we supposed to answer this question? Like first of all, like user add, define the shell, let us say sbin, no login or whatever. If you want to give customized user ID, let us say 2000 or whatever you want. Then after, if you want to define like a specific home directory for the user, you can define that. Then after, you can define the particular group ID as well, and then the particular username, let us say Thomas, right? So when we are talking about these sort of things, so you have right to ask that how do you want to create the particular user with additional parameters or like with default values. So this is the particular this was the expectation of that interviewer. It means you were supposed to know that what additional parameters does that interviewer want to supply at the moment when the person is trying to create the user. So you can additionally ask, okay, do you want to pass on any additional parameter, or like you want to go with default settings of the or your operating system. If the interviewer says, okay, I would like to go with default parameters, then you can simply add user and then username. But if the particular person says, okay, I want to create such a user which does not have right to log into operating system, it means the person wants to define the no login shell with customized user ID and then the particular customized directory as well. So these particular options you can say. Now, how can you delete a user account in Linux operating system? Okay, now once again you have a particular point. So guys, as and when we create a user, let us talk about slash home directory. So user home is created, user Tom is created here, user ec2 dash user is created here, right? So whenever we log into slash home and Tom, slash home then Tom, ls-la. So you can see that couple of files are there which are owned by user Tom, and by default we did not create these files. These are created at the time of user creation, right? We will discuss like how and why these files are created, but after some time only. Okay, so now the particular question should be, okay, do you want to delete all the relevant files for the user, or do you want to delete the user only and you want that files to be remaining on the operating system? So right now when we are talking about like these are the interview questions for those guys who have up to 4 to 6 or maybe like 4 to 7 years of experience. Right now you can also ask to elaborate the question, like what is the actual requirement. Sometimes question seems to be very simple, but right now the interviewer would like to understand what that how do you take this particular question. So because you have understanding that you can delete the user, but you can additionally ask to the interviewer, do you want to delete relevant files of that user, or do you want to delete the particular user itself, you want to keep the files within operating system. Okay, so if the user says, if the person says I want to delete the particular user only, I don't want to delete the user like that particular files of that user, you can simply come out of this directory user del and username. That's it. Now if you see here, so Tom directory is still exists and all the files which were there, right now you will be able to see that all the files are available. But if you see, the username is not available, only the user ID of that user Tom is available here. Okay, we are going to delete this file as well for now, because we want to perform couple of other like practicals, rm-rf, and then the user name is Tom. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now let me create the user once again. User add, username is Tom, and what do I want here is, now I want to see whether files are created, ls-la, and define the directory tom. Yes, once again the files are available. Let me create one another file, like I'm going to run a command touch slash temp, let us say tom. Another file is created there. User is root. Okay, the user tom was supposed to create this file. Okay, let me remove this file, rm-rf, and then after the file name, switch to user tom, and then create file touch slash temp and tom. You can see the permissions of this particular, like user is tom and the file like group is also tom. Okay, so this question was whether you would like to delete user only, or you would like to delete the associated file as well which are owned by the user tom. Okay, so if interview says, okay, let's go ahead with the deletion of the particular files which are owned by user and maybe including home directory as well, define the name and that is it. So where is pool mail tom, not owned by tom, not removing it. But if you see the directory temp, so this particular is remaining available with the username, with the user ID. Why it is so? Because home directory has been removed and all the files within home directory have also been deleted here. So if you see here ls-l, so the directory has been deleted, right? So this is how we can ensure, we can easily answer the question that do you want to delete the particular file. Okay, let me remove these unwanted files as well from here, rm-rf temp sys system, and that's it. Yes, fine. Okay, how can you change user password? Okay, so first of all, let me create once again the user add tom. Now if I want to set the password of this user, password passwd is the command, then after define the username, you can set new password for the user. Okay, password do not match, I'll have to try again. Token set successfully. So what is the command? Passwd. Okay, now so this is how you can set a particular password for user. One more thing I would like to highlight here, normal user can set password for him or herself, wherein root user can perform the password reset activity for any user available on the system. Okay, so these are some of the basic questions, like questions for beginners. Now let's talk about those questions which are for intermediate level, like person having experience like 2-3 years, maybe 4 years. So that sort of questions we are going to discuss right now. So the question is, explain the structure of etc path library and etc shadow file, or maybe etc group file as well. So let us read these files like one by one. So guys, first of all, this is username, this is password hash, this is user ID, this is group ID, this is home directory for the user, and this is shell for the user. Moreover, if you read this particular line, so over here you will see here username, password hash, group user ID, group ID, and this is the command for the user. This is home directory for the user, and this is shell for the user. So these are different entries here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 different fields within etc password file, which you can easily explain, like username, password hash, user ID, group ID, command for the user, like if you want to add any, then after home directory location, and then after the shell assigned to that particular user. These are the 7 different fields available in etc password file. Okay, second file we are talking about shadow. Okay, so this is username, this is password hash, and these are the different values related to password. How can we read these particular values? So let me tell you that particular part of once again. So before I explain that part, let us talk about etc group. I'll explain this particular value. So these are the values like group name, password status, and then after group ID. These are the details within etc group file. Okay, how can we read these values? Let's get back to that particular point. So there is a command in Linux operating system known as chase. So if you see, there are some values, there are some numbers written there. So let me tail minus n1 slash etc shadow. Okay, n1. I spoke though, but I did not type it. Okay. So this is username, this is password hash. Now what is this? 20043. So these are number of days when password is supposed to expire, and these are number of days from 1st of Jan 1970. 0101 19, so 1970. Yes. Then after, this is the like warning age. This is the like number of days between password change, minimum number of days between password change. So these are some of the values which are defined here. Okay, if you want to add more values here, you can run the command chase, define the username. So first of all, it is going to be a minimum number of days between password change, minimum password age. Let us say I'm going to say 10. Like a password should not be reset like before 10 days. So what should be maximum password age? Let us say I'm going to define here 180 days. Most of organizations say that password should be changed within 90 days, so we can define 90. When was the last password change activity performed? Let us give it today's date. Password inactive, like when is password supposed to like go inactive? So let us say I'm going to say 10 days after password expired, or let us keep it a different way. Let us keep it, let us say 12. Account expiration date -1 is never. I'm going to say, let us say 20 days. Yes, so these values are defined there. Once again, if I want to check here, like what are the values here defined, so you can check here, and once again I can do here -n, and then yes, these are the values. Now we shall be able to correlate it. So number of days of warning before password expires 7. This is a particular field. Now like last password change, today's date. Then after it says password expires, this is the particular date, but over here you will see the value in different formats. Okay, password inactive 26th of Feb 2025, like couple of days after account is expired, like password expired, account expires, this is the particular date. Then after, minimum number of days between password change 10, maximum number of days between password change 90, and warning is 7. So chase command you can use in order to define that when your password is supposed to expire. Moreover guys, like how do you modify user properties such as shell, directory, and user ID? Okay, so guys, there are two main commands for user addition. The very first command is user add, and second is user mode. So if you want to perform any activity at the time when you are creating a user, then you can use user add command. And if you want to perform anything with a user which is already existing in the system, you can use user mode command. So directory has been changed. Earlier it was bin bash, now it is sbin no login. Moreover, if you want to define that, you want to bring it back to previous stage. So bin bash, and you can once again grab tom. So this command you can use in order to change the directory for the user. Okay, second thing is home directory of the user you want to change. Not a problem. So right now the directory here is /home/tom. You can change, you can create new directory mkdir, let us say /opt tom, change ownership, ch on is the particular command, tom, and then after define it, opt tom. Now what you are supposed to do, user mode -dd for directory, define directory, then after the username. So user mode command you can use with already existing system in the system, existing user in the operating system, and user add command at the time of user creation. So once again, if you want, you can run a command known as grep, and it will show you that the home directory has been changed. Sometimes it is seen that usually people say that I'll open the particular file etc passwd and I'll update the location of the directory. So ideally it is not recommended to change the directory after opening this particular file, maybe with vi or vim or maybe nano editor, but it is recommended to change the directory of any user with the help of this particular command known as user mode. Okay, and user id, yes, very true, we can do that. User mode -u for user id 1002, and let us say tom, right? So this is and we can run a command id, and then Tom, and the ID of this particular user is changed. Moreover, if you want to change group ID as well, then you can change group ID as well, but that does not exist. Why it is so? Because group ID is created at the time of user creation, so that's why that ID does not exist. Okay, so let's move ahead. What is next? How do you lock or disable a user account temporarily? Okay, very good. So first of all, we need to check whether a user account is logged or not. So how do we check it? How do we check whether user account is logged or not? Okay, so for that, like, there are different ways to check. Either we can check with the help of, like, first of all, let us log the user account. User account is logged. Okay, this is how. So rather than running the particular command known as user mode, we need to run a command pass library -s. So this command is going to show Tom logged when, and like other details like password logged. How do we unlock it? What command did we execute in order to like log the user? This one, or maybe we can run a small l as well. If we want to unlock it, just run simple -u. Okay, pass library -u. Unlocking password for user Tom. So passwd command is used in order to lock a particular user on temporary basis or to unlock the user, right? So this is how we can lock or unlock, like lock or disable the user, or maybe unlock the or active the user account. Next question is, how can you switch to another user without knowing their password? So this is very tricky question, guys. Until and unless you have the right to execute a command known as su, right? For example, I want to switch with user Tom. I can do that easily. Why? Because I have logged into this operating system with super user known as root. So root user can switch to some other user without knowing the password. But let us say I created one another user, or maybe I can create new user add password do not match. Okay, I have created password. If I switch first of all with user Tom and I try to switch with user, it will ask me password. But at the time when I switched from user root to user Tom, then it did not ask me for the password. So what is it? So if you try to switch from one normal user to another normal user, then you need the password until you have sudo access. Like super user do. You have right to execute the command just like super user can execute the command. Okay, so that is what the interviewer is trying to ask you within this question. How can you switch to another user without knowing the password? So either you should have like root access, or you should have like sudo access. Okay, how can you list all users created in a Linux operating system? Very easy and very tricky question. How to list users? So user list, there is no such command. So right now what you need to do here is, you need to print awk print the very first field of the file, and the file name here is I have committed a mistake here. So dollar P was in capital. Okay, one more thing. You can run a command cut hyphen D, this one, hyphen F, 1 from etc pass WD command. So it will print the list of only those users which are available on the operating system. Maybe system user, maybe non-system user. Moreover, if someone says that you want to print all the users which are having slash bin bash shell, so you can print here F1 and F7 for shell. Okay, my bad. Now you can grab bash. So it will provide you the list of only those users which are having bin bash shell. What was the syntax of it? Let me check the syntax of it. Okay, I'll check and let you know, guys. I'm so sorry for that. Currently, I am not able to recall that. Just give me some time. I'll let you know within some time. Okay, so let's move ahead on to next question. I'll definitely explain and maybe I'll try to paste the command into chat box. Okay, how do you manage user permission and ownership for the files and directories? Okay, so the particular command here is chmod, let us say 777, and any file, let us say slash temp mkdir slash temp test. The default permission of this directory are like read execute and read execute. Root, this is that particular directory name. Moreover, like if you want to change permission of this, chmod 777 and then after the particular directory name. This is how you can modify the particular permission of any file. Okay, how do you change ownership? So the command is chon. Now the particular username, let us say Tom and test. Ownership is changed. Now if you want to change the group, chgrp group, I have yet not created group. The same way we can add group add and let us say hr. Now I am going to change the chgrp hr and the directory name is Tom. So directory is also changed. That was test. That was my mistake. I executed on different group. Okay, so right now the group of this test directory has also been changed. This is how we do, this is how we work. Okay, what is the purpose of sudo and how do you configure it? So yes, guys, this is a very important question. So there is a particular file slash etc sudoers. This file allows us to create like host aliases. Like let us say if there are hundreds of system in your group, in your network, you can create user alias. You can create like command alias, like for networking, for software installation, for services, for like disk allocation and other aliases you can create here. Moreover, there is a particular way like how you can define the particular services within this particular file if you want to allow any user to execute any specific command. For example, I want user Tom to be able to execute all commands just as equal to root. Moreover, if you want that user is not supposed to pass any password at the time of command execution, you can add this parameter as well after this particular one. All, no possibility. Moreover, if you don't want to give all commands, what is this? So first of all, it is like username is Tom, then after it is machine all, and commands all. So right now we are going to allow all commands on all machines in the network without passing any additional password. So these parameters you can define here and you can check it. User add new user, but obviously before executing this command, user is supposed to add one additional parameter. For the first time, user is supposed to provide password, and that is it. It is giving like we trust that you have received the usual lecture from the local system administrator. It usually boils down these three things: respect the privacy of others, think before you type. With great power comes great responsibility. So new user has been created. If you try to open this particular file etc, oh, there is some syntax error.